Hey guys, good morning. It's Laura. How are you doing? I haven't made a video on YouTube for a couple of days because I've been so wrapped up. Well, I had my grandbaby for a week, but my What a Girl Needs in Recovery is rapidly growing. But I did say that I was going to talk to y'all about I was going to tell you guys about the night that my boyfriend passed away in 1995. A lot of people want to hear about it, and I've never actually, I've spoken about it to very, in details to, the people that needed it, but such as his son. This was in 1995, so his son now is like 30 something years old, who is a blessing that we reconnected and when he was 18, and I'll go into that. So this is going to be kind of a long video. I'm going to try to get through it before my fiance comes back. I already had to kick him out when I was making my What a Girl Needs in Recovery morning, one day at a time video, but so I had to redo it. But he was like, I'm gonna go somewhere. So anyway, he'll be back. He always comes back. He's one of the good ones. That's a country song, One of the Good Ones. That's my song to him. Anyway, so I had a boyfriend that was that I was with for 3.5 years. His name was Billy. And we were, like we said, we were together for 3.5 years. 2 years into the relationship, I think I started stripping, and he was one of the ones that, I feel like my eyelash is about to come off. He's one of the ones that got me into stripping. So when I started dancing, I always called it an acting job because I've been acting my whole life, masking the way I feel with food, with men, with drugs, with alcohol. So I never called it stripping. I always called it an acting job. It was I went to work, I said what they wanted to hear, and I left with a lot of money. Bam! And then I'd go get fucked up. That was just the way it was. Anyway, I worked during the day most of the times because I didn't like the clientele at night. And during the day, it was more business-like, more businessmen, and they, weren't looking to get laid for that day. They just were coming in for the badass buffet and, get a couple dances and go home and be with their wife. It sounds terrible, but that's probably what they did. Anyway, I was working, and we were in the end of our relationship, obviously, because he was killed. This is back in September of 1995. Well, we had been fighting. I was in full-on addiction. He was one of those that could drink 2 or 3 beers, and I knew, there's Sissy Lynn in the background, I knew if he'd had more than 3 beers, his whole demeanor changed. He was very sad, drunk. I'm not so sure that he wasn't abused as a child from a family member. I don't know if it was sexual, but I'm thinking maybe. I don't really know. So I might get some backlash on that because I do know his family members still. I talked to his brothers and, several other people, cousins, things like that. His sister passed. His mom just passed. Anyway, I was going to Cancun that day that he died, that morning. It was a 6 a.m. red-eye flight. And my boyfriend, it says fiance on the program when he passed away, although he never gave me a ring. I don't know why it said that, but I loved him terribly, though. I really did. I think if he would have lived through that night, we might have possibly been together because maybe we would have both got sober. Instead, I spiraled out of control. Out of control for 25 more years. Right? Anyway. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, I'm terrible at math. I promised him that I would work during the day, and that he said, please, all I want you to do is come home at 7 o'clock. That's when the shift ended. And I usually would go to work from like 3 to 7. It was 4 hours. It was terrible. And I would leave. I just, I'd get fucked up and I'd bounce out. Probably go get some shit. Anyway, 7 o'clock comes and I'm getting dressed in the dressing room. Plans to see him. I don't know if we had talked or what. It's been so long. But some girls came over and said, oh, so-and-so's having a birthday party. Please come. I'm sure they said there was cocaine there. And I went. I didn't get home till 2:30 in the morning. Supposed to be leaving at 6 a.m. on the red eye to Cancun. Got home, tweaking, geeking, cocaine. This big condo I had. So I was making lots of money when I was dancing. So I had a really nice place, nice furniture. It was nice. It was very nice. And anyway, so I'm going upstairs to go to sleep. It was one of those. I think I was laying on the couch, because the answer machine, one of those answer machines back then where if they call, they say, hey, are you in there? Wake up. I know you're in there. And you can hear the whole message. It was a friend of mine, Sean. Sean was a millionaire that just discovered crack cocaine. And I had friended him because a friend of mine came over, back up a year. Reason why I know it was a year is because I had my first boyfriend that passed away when I was 16. His birthday was September 25th. And my friend had come over to my condo, and this guy, Sean, was in the hospital. And he said, this guy's got a lot of money. He's very quirky. He's weird, lonely. Let's go see him in the hospital. I ended up taking him some lifesavers, And it was Billy's birthday. Not Billy. Ricky's birthday. Ricky's boyfriend that died when I was 16. Anyway, we ended up being friends, drug friends. And so fast forward, it was almost a whole year later, because Billy passed away on September 14th. But during that time, he had got a girlfriend, the guy that killed Billy. And her name was Taryn. I've never seen her after the day that Billy was shot. She had all her stuff at my house, and I put it on the side of the curb. I've never seen her again. But Sean's calling me. It's 2:30, 3 in the morning. I'm having to go. He says, please wake up. I got to talk to you about Taryn, this, and that. Well, I had let Taryn stay at my house. She was at my house. I guess I was going to Cancun and leaving her there. I think she screwed my, Billy, because I never saw her again, and he showed up at the door. So anyway, I said, no, I can't let you come over. I'm going to Cancun in 3 hours. I got to get some sleep. We kept calling. I let him come. And, of course, he had dope. He was with his drug dealer, Larry, in his Mercedes. And, of course, I did some. About that time, Billy knocks on the door. I didn't know he was wasted. I didn't hear it in his voice. I have so much guilt for opening the door that night. He started saying something about me being with Sean. He didn't know Sean was there because the drug dealer had dropped him off and took off in his Mercedes to get more shit. So he didn't think anybody was there. Well, my dumb ass opens the door. Sean's on my couch. Sean was this skinny, nerdy, rich guy. Billy was a muscle hottie. I don't think he had a shirt on. And he pushes his way through the door. Sean's in there. And all hell breaks loose. Billy's blood alcohol was 3.8 when he died. But anyway, he pushed his way in. They got in a little scuffle. Sean pulls out a gun. I said, oh my God, wait a minute. Sean didn't have a car. I didn't have a car. I didn't even have a car then. I had a bicycle. And Billy had pushed me over the bike right when he pushed his way in the door. And I got a black eye. So I had a black eye. And all this scuffling's going on. I said, hold up, So I go to the phone. I'm trying to call a taxi. Somehow I called my mother. She was on a 3-way. She heard the whole thing. I called a cab. My mom's on the phone. She's hearing all this shit. And I had this real fine dining, formal ass dining room table with these big plastic flute thingy. Of course it was alcohol glasses. Well, he was out of control. He kept going in and out of being nice. Billy did. And Sean was just, had already put the gun up once, so Billy knew he had a gun. Well, I went to go over to get some water out of the refrigerator, and I had one of those where you open the door. Remember, this is 1995, and you put the glass in. I got the water, and I was going to drink the water. It was one of those flute glasses on the table. It was plastic. He grabbed that, and he says, I'm the devil, and bit it. So I grabbed another glass, because I threw the water on him, I think, to sober him up. That just really pissed him off. So then I went to go get another glass of water inside the refrigerator, because the refrigerator was, you open it, but the spout was kind of low, so you'd have to bend down in there to kind of get it. Next thing you know, I hear pop. And Sean ran out. Billy was standing there with his hand over his heart, and he didn't have a shirt on, and he fell back on my couch. Remember, my mom was on the phone, and I kept saying, Billy, don't leave me, don't leave me, don't leave me, don't leave me. What are you doing? Oh my God. And he never said anything. He never said anything. Well, I called 911. I think I called 911. I don't remember if my mom called 911. Somebody called 911. And they pulled me off of him. He never said anything. The last thing I said to him was, what about Bailey? Because that was my daughter's name that I had picked out many years before. And we had a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo, and it was empty. And I used to say it was Bailey's room. I didn't have Bailey for 4 more years. Looking back, I should have had a roommate. Stupid, but they put me at the dining room table. And there was a divider, so I never saw Billy again. I just remember asking them, what happened? And they said, he's gone. And they found Sean running down the street at the Exxon station. Blood all over him. I was on the news. My dog was upstairs. I had just got a new puppy. Billy had paid for it, bought me. Hands the guy $75 and said, "Who says you can't buy love?" My puppy was up there, and they took me to homicide. And I made a statement, and I saw Sean. Sean was screaming through the window that he loved me. Like it was a crime of passion or something like. But he was so. I would have never let him come over if I would have known he had a gun. You know, I just wouldn't have. But the thing was, I was so fucked up in the head. He had been showing his gun around, so I should have known he would have a gun. It was like, you know, and so he got out on bond, and I ended up probably a year later going to the grand jury and telling them what I'm telling y'all, and they sided with Sean. Self-defense. You know, if I wouldn't have had that black eye where he pushed me over the bike, I probably could have, you know, we probably could have charged him with murder, because it was definitely murder. It was definitely murder, you know. Billy never hit him or anything like that. I don't think, because like I said, my head was in the refrigerator when all that happened. I never saw him pull out the gun the second time. And it was just a really, really bad time. You know, I remember waking up. It was the condos that we lived in off 290. My grandmother lives in them. She still has that condo. She passed away a few years ago, but I remember when she moved in, she said, "Just don't, you know, I'm glad you're living here, but don't make a ruckus." My grandmother was walking to the mailbox, and somebody said, "Oh, somebody in 214 has been shot and killed." My grandmother said, "Was it a guy or a girl?" And they said, "Guy." And she was like, you know, probably like, "Oh God, you know, thank God it wasn't a girl." But I mean, yeah, she loved Billy. We all loved Billy. He was a really, really sweetheart when he was sober. But the point of this video is because I want people to know that you don't have to drink. I mean, when he would drink more than 3 beers, he would turn into this sad individual. You know, he wasn't a happy drunk. He was a sad drunk. And for whatever reason, he would pick up the alcohol, and he knew he was trying to be sober. I mean, I did the DTs with him and everything, and the chicken broth. I mean, he was a bad alcoholic. Although I was a raging addict, I never ever detoxed off of anything. I think it's because I am saturated with that shit. But I was not a big alcohol. When alcohol wasn't my thing. Once I drank, I would go right to the hard shit. That was just the way it was. I wouldn't be like sit at home and make drinks, because I would get tired. And if I stopped drinking, I would get a headache. So I would just drink and do drugs, period. But Billy would drink. I don't think I ever did drugs with him. He would get so sad. And so, why a disease of the mind? And he used to say, it's on every corner. You know, it wasn't like, you know, the drugs for me, where I couldn't just go into a store and grab it. I probably wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't be alive if I let drugs, you know, if drugs were accessible like that, where I could walk in and go, okay, I'll take a 20, you know. You know, we had to look for our drugs. We had to wait for our drugs, you know. We had to get bad drugs to get the good drugs. You know, it was like a vicious cycle. But I wanted to come on and let people know that, yeah, that's a true story. You know, it's a true story. But after that, I went through hell. You know, that was 1995. My mom died in 2000. And then my brother died in 2005. My best aunt in 2008. Then I decided to go get a divorce from a man that worshiped the ground and walked on. And if I would have been sober, you know, maybe we could have stayed together. But now, you know, I'll never know that. I don't care. I mean, I sent him a thing just the other day about my What a Girl Needs and recovery. I said, I thought you might get a kick out of this. I know he's proud of me. Of course he won't say it, but, you know, of course he's proud of me. And I don't care if he's proud or not. I'm proud of me. Peace is on the inside. That's why I can come on these videos with no makeup on and tell you these stories and what's happened to me and what I've done to have 705 days of continuous sobriety. I feel so happy. I'm so sad. You know, Billy, though he died in such a tragic way, you know, and I buried him. I paid for the funeral and all that. And I showed up at the funeral high on cocaine. You know, I was in active addiction. But Billy today would be so happy. He would. He would be so happy. I mean, I know he would. And if he would have lived through that day, and maybe we would have been able to look at our demons together way back then, you know, who knows if we would have been together or not. But I just wanted to tell you guys that story because, you know, I feel so guilty. I should have came home at 7. I shouldn't have opened the door. I shouldn't have let Sean come over that late. All of that. But today, I can't let it weigh me down. So I made a video earlier to get rid of things. So the resentments toward myself, of course I still have a little bit in the back of my mind. Who wouldn't? You know, I'm human. But I'm trying to walk as light as a feather today. I don't have the bricks of addiction on me. You know, I've lost 30 pounds. I get to make these videos to hopefully help somebody else out. You know, that's all I want. I want you guys to have a blessed day. I love you guys. Thank you for the support. I am just truly blessed and honored to be able to do these videos and hopefully help you. I love you. Have a good day. Bye.